Welcome back to the Crafty Yarn Barn. Today I'm going to teach you how to crochet this lovely little V-stitch pattern. I've also heard it referred to as a double V-stitch. I found it fairly simple to follow along with and memorize. I think it's going to be something any skill level crocheter is going to find it easy to follow along with as well. Here's a close-up of the swatch that I made. I wanted you to be able to see this stitch pattern up close. See how those double crochet V's interlocking with the rows below and beneath it? Look how pretty that pattern has turned out to be. Check the comment section down below and I will give you a list of the items that I use in today's project. I've used the Caron Simply Soft yarn. It's called Baby Sunshine. It's a medium 4-ply yarn and it calls for an H8 hook. I've used the Boy hook. The brand is B-O-Y-E. I love these handles on here. It makes it easy to grip and hang on to. And I've used these stitch markers as well. I'll give you links to all these items in the comment section down below. Also, I'm going to provide to you written instructions on how to complete this stitch pattern. If you like video tutorial, please consider subscribing to my channel. Turn on that bell notification so you get notified every time that I create a new video. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. We're going to do our slip knot. With the foundation chain for our V-stitch, which is sometimes also called a double V-stitch, we need to have our foundation chain that is a multiple of 2 stitches plus additional 2 stitches. So any number that is a multiple of 2, then you add 2 additional stitches onto your foundation chain. To start your foundation chain, you put your crochet hook underneath the yarn, turn it and pull it through. Yarn over, which is put it underneath the yarn, turn and pull it through. That's 2. Yarn over, pull it 2, that's 3, and I will see you in just a moment when I get to my 30 stitches, and I'm going to add 2 additional after that. I've made my foundation chain, and as I stated, it needs to be a multiple of 2 plus 2 additional stitches. Now we're ready to start our first row. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a row marker right here in the top of this chain that I just completed. This is going to help me when I come back on my following rounds. So we're going to go ahead and put the row marker there, and we're going to count 4 chains back, and we're going to do 2 double crochets in the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do 2 double crochets into this chain. So we're going to yarn over, put it through that foundation chain, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through 2 loops, and then we're going to yarn over and pull it through 2 more. We're going to do another double crochet in that same chain. So yarn over, put it through, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through the next 2 loops, yarn over and pull it through the next 2 loops. That's your 2 double crochets. Now you're going to skip the next chain, and into the following chain you're going to do 2 more double crochets. Those 2 double crochets into the same foundation stitch, that's going to create a V pattern. So yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through the next 2 stitches and through the next 2 stitches. See, and that creates a V. So you're going to skip the next chain, and into the following chain you're going to do 2 more double crochets. And we're going to do this pattern all the way across until the very end. Patterns of 2 double crochets, skip a chain, 2 double crochets, skip a chain. And I'll see you at the end. Okay, we're to the very end. Now we have 2 chains left. We're going to skip this chain, and into the very last chain we're only going to do 1 double crochet. We have been doing 2 into each, but on our last chain we're just going to do 1 double crochet. Then we're going to turn our work and we're going to go back the other way. Now we're going to chain 3, And we're going to, in the space between the first V here, these are the stitches. There's 2 double crochets in that chain together. In between those stitches, see how it makes a V? We're going to double crochet right into that space. We're not going to do it into the stitch. We're going to do it into the space in between those two. Now before I go any further, I want to get a row marker, and I'm going to mark the very top of that chain 3 that we made just a moment ago, because that's where we're going to do our last stitch on the row when we come back the other way. Show you where I have this yarn marker. This is the top of the double crochet that we made, and this is the top stitch of the chain 3. So we want that row marker in the top of that chain 3, not into the first double crochet that we made. So now we're going to yarn over, and we're going to put 1 more double crochet into that space in between those 2 below. Now, there's our first V of our second row, and see between each double crochet series that we have, there's a pair of double crochets. What we're going to do on this row, we're going to put 2 double crochets in between those 2. Not in the top stitches, but actually in between the space of those 2. Here's the next pair. You're going to stitch your next 2 double crochets into the space in between those V's. When we pull it apart and you can see the V, you're going to go right in that space. And you're going to do this all the way across. So we're going to yarn over. There's our next V pair. We're going to go right into the space in between them, yarn over, and then we're going to yarn over and pull it through the first 2 and to the next 2. We're going to do another double crochet right into that space. So now there's a pair into that space. We're going to skip over to the next pair, and right in the space in between them we're going to put 2 more double crochets. And we're going to do this all the way down until we get to the very end of our row. And then when we get to the very end, I'll show you how to do your last stitch and to make your turn. So I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, now I've done my last pair of double crochets into the space for those pairings below. Now, the great thing about the yarn marker, I have it marked exactly where I'm supposed to do my last double crochet. And we're going to do 1 double crochet into this space where my yarn marker is, and then we're going to make our turn. So I'm going to remove my yarn marker so I know exactly where my hook is going to go. I'm going to yarn over and put it right into the space where I pull my yarn marker out, yarn over, pull it through, and complete my double crochet stitch. And that finishes your second row. Now we're going to repeat that same pattern that we did when we did row 2. We're going to turn our work. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we can go ahead and put our row marker in if we want to. Right here in the top chain of our chain 3 that we just did, that's where our last stitch will go when we come back the other way. So we've got it marked. Now we're going to repeat that same pattern all the way through our work. I'm going to go over it with you one last time. We're going to chain 3, and the top of that chain 3, that's where when we come back the other way we'll do our last stitch. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets in between the spacing of each pair on the row below. 2 double crochets. We're going to skip over here to the middle of that pair, into the middle of that pair, into the space between the middle of that pair, all the way down. And we get all the way down here, we'll do 2 double crochets, and then right here in the last stitch we'll do 1 double crochet. We'll turn our work. We'll chain 3, move our row marker up to the next row. That'll help us keep track of where to do our last stitches when we get to the end of each row. I love row markers. That'll keep your project nice and straight, and it won't go crazy or wonky on you. Here's a quick look at the swatch that I completed. All you need to do is continue to make your rows as directed. Thank you for following along with the pattern. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to bringing you more fun tutorials just like this in the future.